Hey everybody, is it time to unplug? With the way virtual reality is going and everybody living on screens, and I say everybody, the younger people that are coming up living on screens and that being their new normal. What does that do in terms of society? When you've got a robust society that has been brought down to an online presence only. What do you do when that's gone and these people don't know how to adjust and don't know how to be a part of a society? Then you've got other countries, other societies that are not allowing this type of thing, i.e. China. What does that mean in the grand scheme of things, and is it deliberate? Let's talk a little bit about my thoughts on that. Here we go. Welcome to the Real World Prepper. Please consider subscribing, like and share this video, and comment. And also join me on Patreon. The link will be below in a pinned comment. Thanks so much. Here we go. Let's talk about the metaverse. I'm kind of interested in the decision of Facebook to change the name of Facebook to Meta. And I think people are going to, they're going to realize that this is a crazy idea. First of all, you're going to give your life to some sort of augmented or virtual reality world that's created by a guy who's involved in this company, whose algorithms are sowing the seeds of distrust and hate. Although, but now we're going to let him just take over what you see and feel, right? Okay, you're going to have a new company. This new company is going to be virtual reality based. The owner of that company, he literally reenacted a scene unironically from Black Mirror. And what makes me kind of concerned is I think it's going to happen. I think most of us, myself and you guys, are from a different generation. You've got kids now growing up in Fortnite world and augmented reality. During the pandemic, a whole lot of people lived online. People like me, people like most of you guys and adults, our parents, having to live our lives online, a lot of people, for all this time, was a difficult thing to do. But for younger generations, that's what they're used to, what they're growing up in. What if the screens that they're watching are interacting with you in different ways? They're getting more advanced. What if you get to be whatever you want to be? What if there's a world where you actually can be seen the way you want to be seen? Would you rather live there where you're rich and good looking and everybody likes you? Or would you rather live in the real world where you're disconnected from all that? You end up with like a Ready Player One world, if you will. And I think it's going to happen. As long as it becomes indistinguishable from reality, which it will be, 5 years, 10 years down the road, who knows? But that's what's going to happen. You look at the video games that, say, I had when I was a kid, Atari 2600, and even before that, the graphics were crap. And you can't convince today's kids, today's young people, to play games like that, because when they can play Halo or Grand Theft Auto or anyway, if you were to go into the future and see what will be available with the insane graphics and the engines that drive them compared to where we are now, it's going to be indistinguishable at that point. The AI keeps getting better and better to imitate human behavior, to innovate on its own. You've got the haptic feedback that's growing. Sports games are one example. Video games, they're really close to like your basketball games, your NBA games, your the way the characters and the players move and all the things. It's not completely real, but they're getting better and better. And it makes me wonder: are we innovating ourselves out of existence as a civilization? And I think that's probably where this is going. Some would say that when you get to that point, when you when you innovate an entire generation of people, well, then it's going to be the barbarians coming to the door, because this is still the real world, you know? Let's look at it this way. If you're not getting married and having babies and you're living in your basement online, here in another generation or two, decade or two, there's not going to be anybody. But really, the vulnerability to this whole thing lies in the power grid. If the power grid went down, somebody blew it up, or EMP or whatever, your life, if you've invested completely into this augmented world, your life is over when that happens. Pull the plug, you're done. It's out for millions of people. It's the equivalent of dropping a nuclear bomb on a culture. If you really all live inside of a computer system, some sort of virtual reality or whatever, you know, when you do that to a civilization, it's the equivalent of bringing a wild animal and putting it into a cage, and then you can't release it back in the wild because it's become, it's become domesticated, for lack of a better term, or at least it's not used to its own environment. It goes back out there, it gets killed. And so that's what's happening with an entire generation of people who live their whole lives online. They don't have to interact with humans, and then there's an entire other Earth, us, out there that's not doing this. China doesn't do this at all, for example. China bans internet access for kids on certain days of the week, and what they can see and what they can play. So in the long run, it makes you want to ask the question, which civilization is going to be more durable? They're going to use, I think here, they're going to use the vulnerabilities to make you feel better about your life that you live on the screen. It's just an amazing thing to think about. It's kind of a scary prospect in my opinion, on one hand, because that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed. One of the ways, it's so multifaceted, all the things that are going on, where we're headed and why, it's shocking. So it's really all I got. Just something I've been thinking about, been looking at some videos on this stuff. And of course, we see it. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm the Real World Prepper. Thanks so much for watching. See ya.